Howdy everybody. Hope you're all doing fine out there in YouTube land and other places out on the internet. And we have a really big show for you today. Yeah, we have a interesting i3 window manager to look at. We also have a couple of scripts I'm going to check out. Scripts of the week type thing. And other chats, and when people come on, we'll talk and that kind of thing. So while we're waiting for people to show up, we'll start in with our scripts of the week. Scripts of the week this week is go over to our it's my i3. No, this isn't i3. This is awesome window manager on my Debian desktop. Debian being Neptune OS. Debian specifically. I can't even hardly talk right. So anyway, we'll look at this real quick. Scripts of the week. Alright. Put our bin script file. We have all our scripts here. See, the one I wanted to focus on today was it's for all y'all Solus people out there. Is EOPRM and EOPUP, which is its basic Solus is package manager is EO package, and so I made it easier to do upgrades and remove files because there's several factors you have to look at. The upgrade first, it's a simple one to look at. We'll fit nano into it. Nano. Back there. Okay. So this file will do an upgrade on both repository files and Flatpak files. So it does Flatpak and repository upgrades on the system. Like that. Then we have this thing checked to make sure the script's not being run as root. I mean, we need to upgrade the other one to where it does the same thing, but yeah. But I found out that when you try to run it as root, like sudo, because sudo before the EOPUP, that it has a problem with it. It doesn't find the file to begin with, so when you put sudo in front of it, it's probably because this bin directory is a personal directory. So if I put it in sbin or user bin or something like that, it probably would find it and want to run it, but can't find it because this is my personal user bin directory, and home/bin is not part of the path for root user, so over there. But anyway, designed so it checks to make sure you're not the root user, and if you are, it's actually active, and it finds file and runs it. It'll exit out and tell you need to not run it as root but as a regular user. That's pretty good. Now, notice I have these red and no color. Basically, it turns the font red color as you'd suspect it would. And this turns it back to the normal, natural, not no color. And then we have upgrading programs. Now this is the root directory. And this is sudo, it'll run as root. Yeah. You run it inside of root, but not, you can't run the file as root. Otherwise, some things may not work right. So anyway, you have EO package, that's the package manager. And then you have UR, which is update repositories. And then the next it runs upgrade, up. Now you can't spell out upgrade, but they have these shortened versions of them too that you can use with just that. So this here is, we put some red upgrading programs and no color. Puts it back plain Jane. And then you have the upgrades, and it has the answers yes to any thing that says, do you want to upgrade? Say yes automatically. Then this is a cache file clean out. It cleans out the cache file. So it keeps that clean and perky. You don't have to worry about that. Then the upgrade Flatpak program next, and this is the command for that Flatpak update non-recognized. So this can be run on any distro pretty much has Flatpaks installed on it. So yeah. Matter of fact, I ran this out, test out, and it gave me, of course, it gave me errors on this because the Debian system, so the Nebula package manager, not a solo system. But this ran and updated all my Flatpaks. It's been a while since I've done that. So, and then we're done. And exit. Pretty simple script actually. Not much to it. But that's the way this one rolls. And we will now look at the other script. The remove packages. A little more complex, a bit more. But mainly it's just added more stuff to it. It's about the same thing as this, I guess. Okay. Oops. I pressed the wrong thing there, didn't I? Control log out script. Press that. Press Control X, not Super X. Alrighty, now we're going to look at the other one, which is nano into this one. If I can spell right. Nano EOPRM. Enter EO package manager remove. EO pub stands for EO package manager upgrade. You already tell us it's got a lot more stuff into it because it runs a little more thoroughly. So what we have here is we have the standard valid package removed. Yeah, this is a function I've created. You can do functions in bash that are called help me. Now, it doesn't actually return any variables to this. It's a little harder to do that with bash, although you can do it. You can do workarounds for it, but in this, you just basically functions just run a set of commands. So this is like my help commands I want to run basically. So then I go down here, I check to make sure somebody's entered some in the first entryway because this is a removal. So you remove a specific package from the distro that you're on. So if you don't have something in there, it tells you command error, and it runs the help me out function established up here, and tells you example EOPRM nano removes nano text editor from your system if you want to do that, or you can use help bring up this help text. So naturally, the next thing I have is if statement here during the help me again if that equals 1. So by the time you get down to here, this part of the program, you already know there's some in there. It's not //help or /h. It's one of the other, it's something else totally different. So then it says you have elected to completely remove the package blah 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 from this Solus-based OS. It's only run on Solus, so I can only do limited test on it here, but it should work because I think I've used it on Solus when I had Solus installed on my computers before. I've added a lot of stuff to it recently that has a lot of extra bells and whistles and stuff on them, checks and things like that. So if you're ready to remove this package, you say yes, and then it goes in this case section. First thing it looks is for Y, capital Y, yes, yes, yes. All versions are yes. If it's finds one of those, and it'll upgrade it to it'll first check to make sure you actually have the program on the system, like I misspelled it or something like that, and you gotta fix it, So first look at that. If that doesn't have a problem, if it equals 0, the error code equals 0, then it runs a package where it removes files from the system. And then it also cleans up the cache for you. Now I think, if I remember right, you can just do rm remove, and rmf I think actually removes the completely like purge on Debian does. My memory is a little fuzzy. I put this in a long time ago when I used Solus for a while, so I don't remember exactly. But anyway, we'll remove your file, remove the package. Of course, it puts that package there, and it cleans out the cache. And otherwise, if it has an error and it can't find it, it'll say package blah blah does not exist on its computer. You wish to remove any dependencies instead, so use option to remove dependencies on the OS operating system. You don't have the actual package installed, so if you want to make sure everything for a particular package is taken out of the way, you just run this, and then it'll remove any dependencies left over, things like that. Okay. So if you say yes to that, then it runs this RMO, which removes dependencies, and it cleans up the cache again. Now anything else, it'll exit out of the system. Out of the script, excuse me, out of the script, not the system. That'd be bad. Anyway. And then it closes out that if file, case file, if closes out. Then here, this is like if you set up here, you don't want to enter no, or as default, like you just press enter, and or it where you say hit press no, then it'll come down here to this, and it'll abort the remove process. Package has not been removed. And then it'll go, we're done here, and that'll be the end of it. Exit out of the program at that point. So, tested what I could on this. I don't have a Solus system installed in VM or nothing like that to really test it out fully. But yeah, when I test out, it all works pretty good. It loads up in Bash and runs and does what I think it should do. So hopefully the package removals and all that stuff work as well. And like I say, it's been a long time since I've had a Solus system on my computer. It's been a long time since I've used this file, so I think the core of it I had on here when used at the time, so I'm pretty sure it works if I didn't mess up something else by accidentally putting in something somewhere. That's my scripts of the week. Script of the week. So, yeah. So, you're probably wondering what I got on my coffee cup today. I got my Texas coffee cup. Yay, Texas. And I've got I have a special, I got coffee, like I said last week, that is Ethiopian coffee, and I also got some Sumatran coffee and some coffee, Costa Rican coffee, green coffee beans, and I roasted my own coffee beans like I used to do all the time, and I'm enjoying it. This kind of Ethiopian coffee is more like a cross between coffee and tea almost, kind of light and citrusy a bit, but it's pretty good coffee actually. I like it pretty well. It seems like it's on the thinner side of coffeeness, but that's maybe because of the tea and the variety, and maybe I roast a little bit lighter than most people would, or something like that. Who knows? That's the cool thing about roasting your own coffee is you get all these different flavors all the time. Even in the same batch of coffee, you might get different flavors depending on how long you roast something. So, very cool. Nice. Now, let's see. So we're running to go into I3. Check that out, are you? Nobody's in the comments. And let's see, where are we here? And nobody's shut up yet. We'll go up here to I3. And I really like this background they put in as their default background. The other one was pretty good, but this one I really like a lot. Really colorful. Orange and the greens and the blue crystals poking up out of the ground. So it almost looks like it's underwater or something to a certain degree. That's pretty cool. Now, I did have to go in and edit as I had on all these, all these ones. I've edited stuff out of here. And to make it look normal, I had to go in and adjust the font size on this to 8 instead of whatever the default was for it. I don't remember what that was or not, but I had to get out of 8 on it, so I had to put 8 out for it to look normal and not be too big on there. You can see some of them are already pretty close to merging together there. So you can see how problematic that would have been otherwise. And of course I probably just not run the conky at all, but yeah, there you go. Now one of the things I really noticed about this window manager i3 is i3 like on Manjaro, i3 there, it had a layout where you just keep going vertically or horizontal, whichever way it is set, till you hit a certain key combination. I think it's Super H to split horizontally, Super V to split vertically. But yeah, once you hit that, then it would start going the other direction. It's kind of, so that's I kind of labeled as a semi-tiling window manager. So, yeah, your what do you call it? You may have a different experience with it. Anyway, on this Arco Linux, so it has I guess I'll call, for lack of a better term, a master stack master quarter stack. I guess I call it. Basically, I'll show you what I'm talking about while I'm doing it. That's not it. Okay, there's Arco Linux. Now it does this. Next one will go down. Didn't push anything. Next one will go horizontal. Next one will go vertical. It just keeps going that way until you get into the real tiny windows. Tiny windows. There's most windows I ever use on these kind of things is just a 3 or thing. Now you can float any of these windows you want, whichever one you're on. Like say you wanted to float this window here. You can hit, I think it's Super F. And it floats that window up for you. Super F again, it puts it back. Super M does nothing. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was afraid what I might do. So, yeah, so you have the Super M, and anyway, that's that. And so I was surprised it did that because it didn't do it before on Manjaro. It just went in splits. I would like to use this better now than I would previously on Manjaro. I like our Linux version of this better layouts work. Just out of the box, how it comes out of there. It also has this bar down here. This is I bar, I think, is what it's called. And I'm going to move myself out of the way, I guess. You can see it better. Yeah, so you got all this stuff down here. There's your, best time here is your CPU percentage. Not sure exactly what this is. That's obviously your memory there. That's total memory. Must be a percentage of memory that's being used or something like that. That's awful low. Must be a percent, I'm sure. Can't be running on 0.11 megabytes of disk RAM, I don't think. So that'd be awful low. Then you got this. This is your volume. And you got your date over here. And your time. Now, I usually change my time to be PM AM instead of just 24-hour clock. But for some reason they tend to want to have 24-hour clock over there a lot. So here you have your Ethernet connection, bar connection, active, and your master. I think it's volume, that's volume. So you can change your volume on the keyboard if you have that function on there, or you can put change it here. And raise it up. You notice this changes over here to match it. So yeah, that's what I got going clicking there. Now I'm going to show you how you can change things up a bit on this i3. I'll just put myself right there so you can see that. And we have so that's the next part of this. Let's go over to config file. Let's see what you got there. Alrighty. Now, in the directory, enter is config/i3. Where everything's at is an i3 directory under the config file. Config directory, excuse me. And this has a lot of stuff in here. Now what it says is .themed, but it's not as themey as you think it might be. The reason I say that is because basically mostly what the themes up is just changes the color of this bar down here, the text, any color text, maybe background and stuff like that. And it changes the outline, active window outline. See, this is blue. If I go off of it, it goes away. This blue border it has right here. That's the yeah, let's open up another one real quick and see what I mean. See this active window because it has a blue bar around it. And then this active over here, and switch back, back, like that. Now, what you can do though is these themes, so I will change the color now. This is kind of the thing, I don't know, it didn't seem to work for me, but you're supposed to be able to change these looks of these things through the Arco Linux tweets file. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute, but I wasn't able to get it done that. Now you can manually do it by, well, all that Arco Linux theme selector does is you select what theme you want to use, and it imports the coding from here into your config file here. I'll show where that fits in a minute. So you have that theming available. You also have, you use a polybar instead of iBar. I want to use that. Also use a status bar. You can also use i3 blocks for your bar. You use a conky for the bar. So it's all the stuff you use for your use i3 status, you use conky, you use polybar, you use iBar, or it's default, or you use the okay, now polybar is a bit different because it actually starts up in another spot, and I don't know where it starts up at, but it was several weeks ago when I looked at it. Yeah, I had been sitting on this review for a long time apparently. I don't remember exactly where it starts, but I think it starts somewhere in scripts maybe. I think maybe I might be able to do that real quick. That's pie combination. No, not scripts. Well, maybe we'll see when we look at the config file. Okay, so we'll check that out and see if that's fine. Config. Here we are in the i3 configuration file. And it sets through key definitions to remember. Make it simpler, I guess, for you to know what the key, so you have to type in this all the time. Basically, it's run through what basic keys you need to know about that it uses in here. And a one key to rule them all, super windows or alt keys, definition above. This, of course, defaults to super key, mod 4. And mod 1 would be alt key. And then it also sets up for using keyboard to maneuver around in there. It sets standard, well, sort of semi-standard or semicolon standard on the, it shifts it down from J through L, from K through J through semicolon as opposed to H through L. I think is the standard one for Vim, that kind of stuff. Or you most time you just use arrow keys. You want to use those. Simple to remember for most people. It's up to you. And you say your screen read singular, dual, that kind of thing. I have all these things uncommented out or coming out. I commented on everything except I put this in here myself. Started up with 1080 resolution on my screen so it fit right. Because on virtual machines it doesn't actually do that now. When you put on a real machine, it generally will do it. I happen to fiddle with it, but virtual machine it doesn't want to do that as much. You have to set them yourself. That's why I set that in there. So it'd start up on the right resolution all the time. And then it's got other examples of monitor setups and first monitor. And I just didn't bother with any of those. These are the two uses. That's only one monitor on here as far as it knows, so use that. Okay. Then you tells you what the key bindings are for workspace. Now they have kind of an interesting, I mean they only show one workspace down here right now. But as you use other workspaces, they expand out. Like say you want to go to workspace workspace 3. You go there. You go back to workspace 1. You see the super 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 all the way. Then you go all the way to 9, 10. You notice it skips all the ones you don't use, so it only shows ones you're actually using, which is convenient for certain things. So if I run a starter program running here, like I say, I started HTOP in here. And it should read 702 megabytes out of 400 gigs of memory I gave this virtual machine. And so anyway, you see now if I switch to 1, the 9 will stay put. See? That's how you know 1. It's a convenient way to show what what you got open currently, as well as windows that have things in them that you want to know about. One always stays put, so one's always there. You know, so we go to 9. Well, we do have some running in it, so if I didn't have some running, I guess it wouldn't work, would it? I can't close this out very easily, so go back to, whoops, we'll go back to 9. We'll quit out of that and close that out. Go back to 1, poof. 9's gone. Sweet. Now bind sim is one of the binding programs it uses. Bind keys to certain things. So you see, here's where you want to switch to a workspace. Yeah, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, all the way to 10. Mod 0, so you got 1 through 0, which switch it over all those workspaces. Now, if you want to move something like say I want to move this over to workspace 5, then I would hit Mod Shift plus whatever workspace you want to. So Mod Shift 5. You know, my 1 changed to 5 over there, my workspace 5. Go back to workspace 1, nothing's there. Ta-da! So yeah, I'd switch back to 1. And move focus standard to workspace. That's that. Menus in Arc Linux. Arc Linux has menus? Yeah, alright, has menus. So, then you start D menu by hitting Mod Shift and D plus D. Now, this is unlike some of the other, more like awesome in the fact that all the key bindings are in one file as a configuration file. Unlike the majority of them, which use SXHKD, I think it is, program, to use that to set your key bindings for most of your stuff, non-Windows functions. This one uses everything in here. Doesn't use SXHKD, blah blah blah, all the letters thrown together file. So yeah, so we have start Rofi. Now I change this mod D to start Rofi small. New full screen Rofi by bringing mod F11. I think it was mod F12. But one of my computers, I don't know if it's on this one over here, this one over here, doesn't work well with the function keys using mod, that kind of thing. So I change those ones I use to some more standard. So if you want D menu, then Shift 2. You use mod Shift D. There you go, D menu up there, and you can type in Firefox or whatever. Go click, away you go. Or you can get Rofi up there. Firefox there. Bing! There you go. Like that. Wanted you to do that, I would have it up like that. Now, how to exit, log off, suspend, blah 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 blah. That is standard for them with Control Alt X. Check toolbar for next choice. Mod X mode system. Memory system. Okay. Now this is interesting. Oh, I see. I see. So this probably looks similar, but it doesn't actually do similar. Or it looks similar, but it's really different from the other one. Because the other one just had a script file or something that activated it. This is a script file, but this activates this i3 script, i3 exit sh. It sends it to, it's a bash script. It sends out log out, suspend, all that kind of stuff over there, based on which of these letters you get. And so this sets the mode. So you press Control Alt X, which is different from most of them are Super X, but you might be able to change it if it's not listed in here anywhere else. Control Mod 1X, or Control Alt X, or start logout system, give you option logout system, that kind of thing. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty good, and that's how it works. Now you restart i3 in place by doing standard mod Shift R. So you use Super key Shift R and restart your i3 in place. If you make changes to big file, usually you just restart that in there. In my Stomach application, you use mod Shift Q. I added mod Q to kill it too. I think I added it. Either they or added it, or I added it. I don't know which. Anyway, I like mod Q because I can do that with one hand. Boom. Mod Shift Q is hard to do with one hand, so you know, miles maybe on that. Maybe you have real wild fingers there. Handle that kind of thing. So we have toggle tiling, floating. Yeah, it's toggles are tiling or floating, which I already demonstrated that. Mod Shift Space floating toggle. Change focus. Yeah, this is how you use change focus on Windows, like you have 2 or 3 or 4 windows open on one screen. Change your focus using the up, down, arrow keys. That kind of thing. Alternately, use the cursor keys. Or use no difference there is, looks like to me. One's capitalized, one's not. Yeah, I think I know what it is. I think earlier they set this up over here. They have these variables left. I think is what was it? Yeah, it's either J or K or L or semicolon. I can't remember what like. I remember semicolon was right. So you hit semicolon and it activate right one here. This is actually cursor keys, the up down arrows, that kind of thing. So don't get confused by that. Remove focus windows, you move it up or down by hitting shift. Mod right, mod shift right. Move it one workspace. Trying to figure out where it's workspace. No, it's not. It's just over the side of the screen here. Like you have 2 or 3 or 4 windows in your tiles in your window, your screen, whatever. Then you can move them around on the screen by using those keys bindings. Mod shift, down, up, right, left, whichever one you use. And that's like if you had like this. Let's see, let's try this out real quick. Okay, so I want to move this over there. Well, see, I can move the, I push it on the mod super key, I can move focus back and forth like that. Or I can, the mod should I move focus that way. Interesting here. So that's how that works. Tiling parameters. Default orientation. See here, you do mod A splits horizontally, mod B splits vertically. and that's standard, but it automatically does it right now. I don't want to mess with that because I think I don't want to screw it up, And resize. Now they had these old resize keys they had here that they'd come in and out basically. Interesting. Because they have coming out all these things. They just add these in. So you press mod, super key, mod 1, alt key, and control key. You can press the right, up, down, or left arrows to grow it. So okay, there it goes. So it's you have to memorize this stuff pretty well. You get it down. But it's mod, alt, super alt, and control. Just have to get my hand on it. Then you can change your size of windows back and forth like that. If you had windows on this, then you can change the size of those too. So that's how that works. And turn back to normal. Okay, so I guess that was standard. And you either enter or escape to get back to quote normal. Obviously. That's in the key bindings. Key binding section. You can tell it's got little print piece here. Coming it out so it doesn't do anything. You don't have to have it there, but it puts there so you know that it's in the key binding section. Now this is choose the font. Font for window titles will also be used by the bar unless a different font is used in the bar when below. Choose your font. Now fonts on here, I just left them as they were. They're a little big, I guess, for some people, but I like big because I need my eyes aren't as sharp as they used to be, so it helps me have bigger font size on these kind of things. So now what this is that all these are coming out pretty much. So this uses font size, uses Noto Mono Regular 13. So if I want to change font size say down to 10, I can do that if I wanted to, but I'm not going to worry about it now. Other than to show you what it looks like when you do that, I suppose. I'll change that. So when I reboot and reload this thing up, it should show a smaller screen one. So memorize the sizes and the fonts right down here. Right down here. And you should change it when I reload it. So what this section is on here is workspaces. They basically assign certain classes of programs to workspaces. If open up Inkscape, if I had this activated, open up Inkscape, it would be assigned to workspace 3. And every time I open up Inkscape, it go on open up in workspace 3. And just go any program, these programs open up in 5. And GIMP it open up in 4, and text editors open up in 2, and browser is starting workspace 3. 8 browser start workspace. So on and so forth. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it goes on down, I think. All the way to 10. It opens up music stuff, all this kind of stuff. And ours. Now here's all start applications. Also been written down to the bottom of the file, haha. Close to it at least. So some we soon show haven't got to yet, which is pretty cool. Take a up now. Maybe it'll help my voice to always up. Okay, so These are applications started at boot, but it'll starts up if it's set to start up. I think it always starts up if you click on it not to start up again. It won't, but yeah, that'll start up if it is available. And auto tiling. It's always set to set auto tiling, which I guess this auto tiling is what makes it to where it auto tiles when the one from Manjaro did not. It had it set to start in auto tiling mode. So browsers. Of course, most people don't want a browser stuff in there. Text, Thundar, mail client, music, tree application. Usually you have several starting up. Okay, so this is a poll kit, GNOME authentication agent startup here. Updater, basic checks if you need updates. Your PABAC tray. Starts up your Bluetooth tray. Your network manager applet. Your number lock X on. You turn it off or on, whichever one. I have it on, but set it on because my keyboard needs it. Yeah, I've explained that it's too much trouble. So Dropbox is off. I mean, you can start Dropbox by you have it installed now. All these programs have to be first installed before you can use them, of course, naturally. But yeah, so NC starts NC. You have NSYNC installed, but yeah, these are coming out, so they aren't active right now. If you ever want to use them, they're there. And there's volume icon. That's one we looked at down here. Right there. And then coffee. If you want to get rid of coffee, you just comment this out and the coffee won't appear next time you restart your system. This is wallpaper, which just left it as it was. No, I didn't. Yeah, I usually use Pay by default. But I just basically not restored it. So that's why I think I added this line in here. Remember I commented that out and added this line in. Polybar. Now you're getting down to system applications. Where it starts Polybar. Launch SH. Now I have to note that I tried the Polybar, I tried all the things, what they look like and how they work, that kind of thing. And I tried the Polybar and I commented this back out. It still showed up while I rebooted the system. To reboot the system, it all went away and it went back to whatever I had set in here for it to be. So that's one spot where you have polybars right there. So hi folks. Host Steve CPI Vince. How you doing today? It is i3 config, suspiciously so, yo. Yeah. Steve and Steve are there. CPI Steve. Vince, excuse me, Vince. CPI Vince, not Steve. Steve and Vince are on this chat. Thank you very much for showing up. Yeah, it's i3. This is Arch Linux i3. Their version of it. And we got application keyboard shortcuts here. There's notify there. And you got your X-Face 4 Power Manager set up there. Starting up right there. We're toward the end of it, but there's still got some much more to go here. And we have oh, the thing went down, up instead of down. Down, boy, down. And then you have more key bindings on stuff. mainly. Now the ones up above them are Windows key bindings. These are the key bindings for various programs I have in here. If you have any questions, just pop up a question or whatever. And text editors. Yeah, I don't have admin installed on this, so I don't. Yeah, some things on here I don't use because I don't have it installed or whatever. Yeah, I didn't install a lot on this virtual machine version of it. I just stuck it in there. Inkscape, I normally would have Inkscape installed, but I don't think I installed any of that on here. And GIMP and Focus, Nitrogen, and VLC, VirtualBox, if you have VirtualBox installed. And I did install, use Thundar, as it's, use a lot of XFCE stuff, pretty much. It uses Power Manager and some of the things for that, and it also uses Thundar and it has focus on it and all that kind of stuff. Thundar, focus, and shift, K, P, enter, and Z, startup, mod, shift, return, starts up Thundar. Got like several ways to start Thundar apparently. Yeah, I think I set this in. Oh yeah, I remember what I did. I wanted mod bead. I wanted oh, I don't know what that is. Anyway, Thundar focus. Key bindings are set for file management. And you have here applications, evolution, Spotify, screenshots. I take screenshots, sets that up as SC4 screen shooter. And it also can use another screen shooter to get it installed or shutter. And floating or tile rules. Yeah, these are the rules that set certain things to float automatically when they open up, so you don't have to worry about where if you don't get this little bitty dialog screen fill up your whole screen or something like that. A lot of these don't you forget to put the calculator. This one doesn't. It's got G calculator right there, floating enabled. So I've had some window managers pop a big giant calculator over your whole screen. That's funky. Instead of all those things floating. And Windows GIMP. And floating, all that stuff. So Windows. And here's interesting things. Variety of wallpapers. I don't use it, but that's there. You needed it. And let's see. Audio settings. All the stuff they have to put in here, so you have all the stuff set up to go cook away on it. Yep. So backlight. And you have border control, bar toggle. In other words, you want to show your toggle bar, this bar down here. Well, you can't see it now because it's got the screen over, but yeah. You set show super W, I believe it is. Yeah, mod B, not W. W is in awesome, B's in. Yeah, see, one of the things they did pretty good overall on most Linux window manager, Arco Linux window managers, is they use some of the same key bindings for most everything. So you almost always hit super enter to open up a terminal, for instance. Or you can usually hit super Q or super shift Q, one of those two, to close a window. But every once in a while you come across these little odd things. So in Awesome, Arc Linux Awesome, you hit super W to open and close the windows on that. And on I3 instead use Super Mod Shift B, Super Shift C B to open and close your little toggle bars down there. I don't know why I chose that, but they did. Okie dokie, so I want to get down to the part where we look at the gaps. I want to look at the transparency on non-focus windows. Toggles Polycom on and off. Bar appearance. Where you say your bars. Yeah, so if you want to play around with that, you can. It shows you where you want the bottom and the top. This first one I've done on Arcalens, it had it on the bottom instead of the top, so the default is the bottom on this. Is okay, I guess, for me. It's just a visual thing. There's nothing you can click on down there except for these things down here. You can click on the network manager app and the bottom thing to get things done, but everything else just no clicky, no clicky. Just information for you to your viewing pleasure. So it doesn't matter if it's on top or bottom or whatever. So in that regard, it is what it is, so to speak. Now, well, we do see the bar, don't we? So I can do that. Well, I won't worry about it now. So now that's yeah. So here, here's where we have the options for how you want your bar to be. So option 1 is I3 status bar. And I think that's what it normally uses, the default. Well, let's see. Default, oh yeah, right there. Status command I3 status. I3 status.conf, you saw that in the configuration files. I3 status.conf. So if you wanted to edit anything in this bar, you go to I3 status.conf to edit it. Option 1, the default. Now you also use I3 blocks, which if I don't remember what it looks like, I examined these for a while for a certain period of time back when I was first investigating I3, Arcalens I3. So I don't remember, but anyway, now you can see you put these different uncomment these certain ones here. And you get the I3 blocks comp or I3 blocks rainbow or I3 original or awesome. Experiment with some of those looked okay, I guess. Nothing fancy, but it changed a little bit. Then option 3 is a clunky bar. Yeah, you replace the I3 status bar with a clunky. And that'll follow documentation. Then the last option is option 4 is a polybar. Now this is polybar launch elsewhere. Search the word for the word from the opening of the bar to the end. That's anyway, you see the search for polybar and we saw it earlier where we had it commented out on the polybar, hopefully. Yeah, R53. And now the start theming bar, that's where it gets interesting. Like I said earlier, I don't know if y'all remember what I said this or not, but this is like this section is where from the stop theming all the way to the start theming. Theme name, start theming. Where it inserts the Arcalens tweaks if you get it to work. I wasn't able to get it to work on this virtual machine. I installed it on my testing machine over here. Currently have the dialog on. So, airline central Africa. Yep. It is. So yeah, this is the interesting thing is all those themes they had over there was I couldn't get the Arco tweaks to work. It would open up the splash screen and it would zap out and be gone. That'd be all I get. So I don't know what. You're supposed to be able to change this with automatically by selecting the theme you want. I wasn't able to get in and look at it, of course, obviously, but you can just copy paste out the other files in here. I'll show you how to do that in a minute because it's a little harder in Nano to do that. But anyway, I could do it, but it's hard. Okay. Anyway, this section here, and I'll show you one of those in a minute when we get there. And it's got a bunch of stuff that isn't used anymore, obviously. Scratch pad, mouse settings, and i3, which they have other things, so that's in the file. Right to there. Now remember that window theming is down like over at the Great Minds. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, the theming part was over at the bottom of the file, so you just go to the bottom file and go up a notch or two and find it pretty easy that way. Yes, I want to say that. Change the text size in there, didn't I? So let's restart that, see if it starts out like this. And yeah, it's text size same down a little slow. And change a lot, change it from 13 to 10. It's especially like same size of me. What do y'all guys think? Did it get down and slimmer? I guess it did a little bit. Anyway, you can change it that way if you want to. I may have to actually go into the i3stats.conf file here and change it there if I want to change it in there, more than likely. But I'm going to show you all these scenes up here, how to put them in manually in case you can't get the Arco Linux tweaks thing to work either. So let's see, Pinky Mortar. You want the Mortar theme? Sounds like it, doesn't it? So let's go. What opens up? I think I'll just turn notice to that. Turn what's our tuner? And I don't remember what's our tuner in Act 3. Do I know? Trying to think. Well, you ready? I'll use a little menu thing we got here, huh? I thought Act 3 had a menu right click menu in there, but it's not enough that now. Temporary opens up some the shifty maybe. If I will log out. Oh, this is over here. So it's super with enter. I'll try that. I thought. Ta-da! Super shift enter. It's the first one I tried because what I remember you saying that it didn't seem to work, but now it works. Maybe I was doing it wrong or something, not pressing fully down one of the keys or something like that. Anyway, we're going to go to big, and we're going to go to i3, Here's all our theme now. Want to run narco corridor theme? Let's find it first. Then we'll go in here. Look over here. Just like that. What I do is I start right here. Okay. Okay. And I'll stop it right there. I'll copy that. And I'll open up some config file. Yeah. I'll head down to the bottom of that. And we'll open that. Right here, start from the menu. And replace all that. With that. And we paste that in. Bobbing my boom, we have our window theme and window posting. And it just uses your focus on focus, focus on active, placeholder, urgent, background theme. That's about all the changes on that. So memorize what everything looks like. So it does when you reboot it, okay? Then you save this and close that out. Now we'll apply it. Okay, it says errors. If errors, you have 3 config files. See what they are. Yeah, it's a kind of like some of the things from the theme or something. So theming crashes it. At least the Mordor team did. Must have been some writer with doing this somewhere. Edit config. Go down. Now, one thing on this. And we'll close this out. And close this out. It's easier to edit this one. It's a file manager, I think. Close to that. Then we go back over here now. It always has default in here as well. Default right there. That's default. That's what's in there originally. So you can always go back to your default like that. It'll allow it. Oh, thank you. I'm glad everybody gets along and chat. So, yeah, so anyway, you can always go back to your default right there, default theme. We're going to try a different one and see what I screwed up in there maybe. Drag cut theme. Any theme that you want to see? I'm not really sure what to pick actually. Mango theme. One that has most, they have a design theme here, which has a has most documentation on what you can do in theme for that thing. Now I tried some of these variable ones. It's basically another way to do it, I guess. So nobody said anything yet. I'm not sure. I had time to think about it and pick one myself. Okay, we'll take our medallion. We'll just go down to here. It's got a lot of commenting things in it, apparently. So, copy. See if we can do this right this time. Okay. Order theme apparently crashed us. Welcome to Mordor. Right, spot where I went crazy in here. Oh, I see. He pasted in twice, I said. That's what caused it to have a connection bit. So, let's just, well, that's bar and window managers, not double thing. My bad. Use that. Use that. Okay. And all that. Yeah, see, it themes the window manager, also themes the bar, so you have two theming sections in there. Oh, I see. The end. Stop theme bar segment. Okay, I got it right. So let's see. Save that. Exit out. Restart. Still says errors in it. Well, figure out that later on, I guess, or something like that. So that's, I'm sorry I didn't get to show you that, Jack. I'm not sure what's going on there. I did it before and it worked perfectly, so maybe do the archive. So there's our class tweak tool. And that's password and tweak tool. And then that's all I get. It's splash screen, that's all I got. So, and I can't do the theming on repair at the moment. So that's what we got so far on i3. It's got a nice background. I really like it. I like this version a lot better than Manjaro's actually, for the tiling purposes, since it automatically does all the tiling function. Like that. But it's nice. But of course I got awesome all set up, so I'm not going to change that. But it's a good option, I think. Yeah, fun debug. I just wanted to bore everybody with me trying to see or figure out what's going on with that. So I'll leave it to later on to come back in when I have time and mess with that part of it and see if I can get it to work again. Well, this is i3 thing, so worked before, I know that much. I've changed the theme several times without crashing it, so I don't know what it's doing exactly there. Did the same thing I did last time, but now it's not working. Must be leaving something in or something there causes it to crash. Anyway, so that's i3 pretty much, I think, and Like I said, I like it. I could use it if I had to, if I wanted to. It's one of the easier window managers to mess with, I think, in some regards. At least it tells you have the configuration file problems, and it doesn't just kick you out of the whole thing and not let you back in until you go into another system and go in the config file and figure out what you did wrong or something like that. Like Qtile, I've had Qtile do that several times on me. I had to have it go into a system like I have it on this Neptune OS. I can go into Plasma or some desktop or another desktop I had it. Now I go into the file. In fact, I used i3 several times as my backup default when I was doing Manjaro reviews, where if I had problems with the big file, I go into i3, then I can edit it, get a big file in there, and then go back. And once I got it fixed and everything, then I go back, start it up in there. Yep. So, any questions y'all guys have about this i3 or comments or like, no like, or I know, maybe not that final window managers, that kind of thing. It's like I was saying before, and I think when I was on Steve's channel, that yeah, desktop is basically a collection of programs. So window manager is basically adding your own programs to it to make it complete what you want it to do. That way, you only add what you want onto it. So it's interesting that way. And of course, window managers tend to be more key binding oriented, more than that. But things like OpenBox and some of those window managers have right click menus. I thought i3 did. I must be mistaken or something. Yeah, the menus you got is D menu and Rofi out of the box. And Arco Linux is i3. But go. So go back to here and I don't know, anybody have anything to say? Any comments or thoughts? Have any of you ever used i3? It sounds like maybe Vince has, probably. I was wondering something though. See, one of the topics when I was considering topics was since Linus Torvald, though I can't pronounce his last name, but the main guy that started Linux kernel. And since he seems to be so controlling of what goes in and out of it, that kind of thing. Happy i3 for the best part of 2 years now. So you're currently on i3 then, huh? Any particular version or just your own creation? You've created a monster type thing. Yeah. 2 years, huh? Yeah, I've dabbled with window managers. Awesome's actually a long time stuck with it. It's been almost 2 months I've been on it now. But I've dabbled with window managers in the past, but I never really have used one as a daily driver until Awesome. Let's see. Of course, y'all probably have seen this 1,000 times by now. There's my awesome window manager. I really like it a lot. And it's got this interesting, yeah, it's one of the few Arca Linux versions that has a theming system for it. I really like this theme. It's called Power Bar Blue, I think. Something like that. Very circle config and mono. Yeah, it's a good starting spot to use something that's pre-made like this, especially since you can just run it out of the box without any problems. That's one of the things I like about Arca Linux Window Managers is almost all of them so far that I've used. I'm able to just use out of the box. If I wanted to, I could use most any of them. Some of them are limited in what they can do somewhat, but some things I want them to do anyway. But yeah, they're pretty cool. So you can set them how you want. So yeah, I've tweaked this one a little bit, just a smidge, I guess you could say. but yeah. You also use i3 on X and Ubuntu. Being in the A, yeah. And yeah, X and Ubuntu. That was my second distro I used, basically back in the day. Back before I found Linux Mint and started using that and really fell in love with it and something. Because everything just worked out of the box when I installed it. That's pretty good. But yeah, I like that I can just install Awesome or something like that and it works like it does. I can go ahead and tweak it how I want it to work. Like theming on this one. And very good. Now, one of the things I noticed that DT, see on my test computer right now what this one's on where there's dialogue showing up here. The dialogue showing up over here on my test computer because I have my pop-up chat window open over here. It's currently running on Xmonad, Arca Linux Xmonad. I can talk. And DT, Derek Taylor, DistroTube guy, recently released DTOS. And right now it's not really a full OS. You install Arca Linux or Manjaro or one of the Arch distributions. And then you're supposed to be able to run the script and you download from this repository. And it installs all the stuff on there and installs Arca Linux like he likes it pretty much. Not Arca Linux, but installs Xmonad how he likes it pretty much. All the configuration files, everything, programs he uses, so you can get all the way it looks on how it looks on his system type thing. And he basically installs things I would probably never use, like I say now never, but someday in the future I might, who knows. But yeah, he installs things like Emacs and Vim and stuff like that. It's fine. I understand he's used to it, so I've been messing around with Vim a bit, but I'm not familiar with Emacs at all. So yeah, I just stick with Nano. So I know I would like it to work and function and stuff using .NANORC file. You know, I looked into that. You probably should if you use Nano at all. As you show, you can get rid of all the functions and all the help files and all make it as friendly and user friendly as you want to. One of the things that I had problems with initially before I realized I could change it was lines going off the edge of the screen as defaults to that functionality, you know. And sometimes you have lines that run off the screen, especially if you get in smaller tile windows and stuff like that. And so I found the RC file, kind of wow, you all sub it. So you set soft wrap in there, it'll wrap all your lines around so it won't go off the edge of the screen. You set at blank, so it'll only wrap it at the where there's a blank in it, that kind of thing. Gotta run. 5 minutes. Bye. Thanks. Thanks for showing up and being here and chatting a bit. Yeah. Thanks, Steve, for being here too. So, yeah. Yeah, you might want to look back some of the earlier parts too, just see if you get a chance, just to see what you got. What I talked about before you came on. I talked about a couple of script files, scripts of the week, and I talked about the beginning until we came in by 3. Put a few things on it, stuff like that. So there you go. Have a nice evening, everybody. I guess I'll close down too. Been about an hour and a half cooking on it, and maybe I'll sit here online. People, if they want to worry or just bored, don't have anything else to do, they watch me sit here and tinker with the with the setup on here and see what's wrong with the configuration file. It says, but I probably won't bore everybody with that, so I'll close it out now. I'll say bye, y'all, and as well, yeah, may the Linux force be with you too. Bye.